Earlier this year, I challenged you, the Till We Make It tribe, to set for yourself 2 resolutions for the new year. One in the short term and the other in the long term. And I want to give you some steps you can follow to help you achieve them. I'm Mike Quackenbush, this is Till We Make It, and welcome to episode 100. We thought for the purpose of capturing this batch, we would change it up a little bit. Do you feel special? I feel special. It's episode 100. Soon, I feel compelled to post a video myself about how I am doing on my New Year's resolutions. And as I've touched base with a couple of my friends and peers throughout wrestling about how their year is going, something came up about setting goals and then having no chart to follow. No course that you're going to pursue to actually achieve those goals. And that got my rusty gears thinking, and here is what I've come up with. So, if you like to work digitally, you're going to get your mobile device ready. Or if you prefer to make your notes analog, get out a notebook or notepad and a writing instrument. Because we're going to make some notes. And here is how we're going to begin. I want you to write down one of your goals for this year. And then, underneath it, leave 11 or 12 blank lines before writing down your next goal. It might be your short-term goal and your long-term goal, or maybe you've set more for yourself. Whatever the case might be, leave yourself about 11 or 12 lines of blank space underneath each one you write down. And now we're going to chart a little bit of a course. I want you to brainstorm the names of 10 people that could help you get just a little closer to achieving that goal. So, if your goal is to get noticed by World Wrestling Entertainment, you need not write down Vince McMahon. You may want to choose lower hanging fruit than that. The idea would be to choose someone who will just help get you a little bit closer to that goal. And maybe that person will lead you to the next person on your list and the next person on your list, but maybe not. The idea is just to brainstorm 10 people who can help move the needle a little bit. And I want you to repeat this for every one of the goals you feel like you are struggling to achieve. Because we're going to leverage these 10 names to help get you going so that before the year is over, you have accomplished what you set out to. The year is still young. We're barely a sixth of the way through the year, but you need to be building that momentum now. And now that you've written down those 10 names, what are you going to do? I'm going to tell you. The first one on your list, you're going to start interacting with them. And here's what I mean. You could choose to do something very easy and low stakes, like interacting with them on social media. Or maybe you can get their number and they're open to having a text dialogue with you or even jumping on a phone call. If it's a long distance type deal, maybe they're willing to Skype with you or jump on FaceTime or some other method of communication. Perhaps you're able to email back and forth and carry on a conversation. But you're going to try and open up a dialogue with the first person on your list and see if you can't open a pathway for communication. To help inform what's going to happen when you try to interact with the first person on your list, I'm going to paraphrase something that I learned by reading Gary Vaynerchuk's wonderful book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, which I am certain I have alluded to before in this very YouTube series. In fact, it was in this video. Please keep in mind, I am paraphrasing here. If you're looking for a more detailed explanation, Gary did write a whole book about it. You should check out Jab, 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 Right Hook. But I'm going to take that core concept and paraphrase it so that we can use it to help you start to pick up momentum toward accomplishing your goals for this year. And the idea behind Jab, 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 Right Hook informs interactions that you could be having on social media, but in a larger sense, all communication. Throughout these interactions, you want to be careful that you aren't constantly asking for something. In order to accomplish your goal, at some point, you are going to have to ask. You're going to ask for an opportunity of some kind, a networking connection, a booking, something. And you will get to the ask. But the ask is the right hook. And the right hook does not come first in Jab, 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 Right Hook. Before you get to the ask, you got to just provide some value to the conversation. You've got to be willing to do that without asking upfront for what you want. And yes, every once and again, you are going to throw a right hook, but that's not going to be every punch you throw. So spend a little time building rapport with this person before you make any kind of ask, even a fairly low stakes ask, knowing that you've got a list of people that you're going to work your way through. And if each of them can help move that boulder just a little bit for you, you are getting closer to achieving your goal. And if you reach out 3 times and attempt to initiate any kind of communication or interaction, and it goes absolutely nowhere, you get no response whatsoever, cross that person off and move to the next one on your list. Without even seeing what you've written down, I can probably make this assumption about your goals for this year. They include upward mobility. And remember this, the higher that you climb in the world of professional wrestling, the busier the people you will be interacting with happen to be. They're going to be multitaskers. They're going to have lots of obligations and responsibilities. They may not be open to starting new dialogue or lines of communication. But don't be discouraged, because you're not pinning all of your hopes on one person. You've made a list 10 names deep. And if after 3 interactions, it's just not getting you any results, move on to the next person on your list. And remember, you might get all the way down to person number 10 before you get even one person willing to interact with you. And yes, it's possible you might burn through that entire list and no one is willing to interact with you in any way, shape, or form. They won't respond to you on social media. They don't answer your text. They're not willing to jump on a phone call. You send emails and they seem to go into a black hole, never to be returned. Well, if you reach that point, guess what? You're going to make a brand new list of 10 possible people who could help get you just a little bit closer to your goal, and you're going to start all over again. Every once and again, during someone's Hall of Fame induction speech, I hear an idea bandied about that I think is congruent with what we're talking about in this very episode. And that is, it takes a village to produce a superstar. The Rock did not become The Rock just by being The Rock. He had all kinds of people help him to create that persona. People that helped him refine that character, to improve in the ring, to provide him with opportunity, to help him network, and then he was able to become The Rock. But Dwayne Johnson did not make The Rock all by himself. And being as magnanimous an individual as he happens to be, he'd probably be the first one to tell you that. There are tons of people that helped him get where he was going. And even if your goals for yourself happen to be a little more modest than the goals of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you too need help getting there. That's true of all of us in professional wrestling. No one becomes a star in a vacuum, in the absence of all others. It's only through our ability to network, build rapport, and relationships that our careers grow and blossom and flourish and come closer to achieving the goals that we set for ourselves. Whether this is your first Till We Make It or your 100th, thanks for being part of this with me. What this channel has become is a conversation. We find your suggestions down below in the comments, and we know what the next set of videos need to be about. Please consider subscribing to this channel and share it with the people you know who would benefit most from being on the journey with us. You keep on being awesome, and I will keep on making the videos. Together, we will keep on faking it.